sessions in the last 2 years that we have been providing this information as a panel discussion to the community. And it is to give you the opportunity to ask questions that you may be intimidated to ask during the certification process, as well as connecting to individuals that can give you the information. We at SCORE do provide one-on-one mentoring, as well as workshops and connections to community resources to help you to manage your contracts, connect to agencies such as the City of Houston. My name is Jada Harris. I am the chapter president of SCORE Houston. We are the second largest chapter in the United States, allowing you to connect with over 130 mentors that can give you specific information and knowledge about some of the interests that you have. Many of the businesses that were announced here in the class today, I'm in a classroom, right? So in the session today, we are able to help you, and we have mentors that have that expertise. I am so happy to see clients that you've been a client or mentee of mine for what, over 40 years now. Former clients existing, he's still a client, as well as people that I met just yesterday. So welcome, thank you for coming over yesterday. Through the chapter, we had a volunteer recruitment and community engagement event, which allowed you to speak directly to the SBA interim director, Mr. Mark Winchester, as well as Winston LeBay, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who connects small businesses. I use the word small, so okay. Connects businesses to funding, which I'm sure that's what you're looking for. And that you will need if you're interested in doing or managing contracts. A lot of misconception is that once you get the contract, you're good to go, right? But many of the times you need additional funding, like a line of credit, to help you support that contract initiative. These are some of the things that we talk about throughout the year. This year, we are targeting specific topics. So we're not meeting every single month. We do have a schedule that I'll provide you at the end, but there are specific titles that we'll go over, like contract management, getting certified with the City of Houston, as well as today's class. So with that being said, I want to introduce or reintroduce Dr. Jackson, Director's the City of Houston's Office of Business Opportunity, and let her provide the
Sure. So I didn't introduce myself. I just
So
I'm Dr. Portia Jackson. I'm a business development manager with the City of Houston's Office of Business Opportunity. We are located downtown, catty-cornered from the Reflection Pond at City Hall at 611 Walker. We are open for business, so if you ever want to come to the office, you can. But other than that, we are available on the website. You can call us, set up virtual meetings. Downtown is busy, so I don't expect anybody to go through the parking, go through like airport type of taking all your stuff off to come upstairs. But if that's your thing, you're more than welcome to come in and do that. But our office is an advocate for small businesses, especially those that are owned by historically marginalized groups. So when we say marginalized groups, really, I hate the term minority, but I have to say it because it's tied to the stuff that we have. So when we talk about marginalized groups, that's racial minorities, that's also persons with disabilities, that's women, that's also disadvantaged, that's economically disadvantaged. So that's folks whose net worth is less than 1.32 million, minus their primary residence and what they have invested in their business. So if you fall into those categories, then you are considered marginalized. And but you don't always have to remain marginalized. That's the difference between marginalized and minorities. The academic is coming out.
yeah, there it is.
But we are there. We have business development programs all the way from folks who just have a business idea with our business plan competition to those who are maybe making like couple $100,000, $1 million in annual revenue and want to take it to the next level. So that's our range in helping. And so we're here with resources. We have free legal resources and connect you with our partners at SCORE for that mentorship and our partners who offer funding and just the like. So we are here to be a resource. We've been doing this our third year.
Yeah.
Our third year in doing this, basically on a monthly basis with some time off on some of those months. We're glad to be here. Start thinking about your questions because we will take those for you and turn it over to Robbie.
Yeah, Dr. Robbie Brombach. He is the director of the Center of Entrepreneurship here at HCC over multiple locations. So I'll go ahead and let him give you
Yeah,
information.
in the 3 years, I think this is the first time I was late. So, I'm not starting up 2024 very good here.
Up here, so thank you for your patience.
But yes, you're right. So I'm with Houston Community College. This is one of our facilities, the Missouri City campus. Most of you may or may not know, but this is one of 70 buildings that HCC operates across the city. So 70 buildings of this type of size and caliber, I think means that we spend well over $1 million a day to stay in operation. A lot of that money goes back to our small business community vendors and whoever's in our procurement system. So that's number one. If you're a business owner already, check out HCC procurement and see if there's opportunities for you. Stuff that you're going to learn about from Dr. Jackson, applies for our smaller group as well. Secondly, we're the largest community colleges in the country. We have anywhere from 60,000 to some bigger number of students walking through our doors every year. What that means is talent. I mean, a lot of you are likely to want to grow. You're going to need people. I would much rather you invest in people in the community that have skills that you need to grow your business. We have a fantastic career services program. If you're a business looking to hire interns, apprentices, or part-time work or whatever skilled labor you need, reach out to the campus. It doesn't cost you anything, and there's a lot of talent that goes through our doors, right? So how are our students? Third, we have programs to help businesses start and grow at HCC. My office, Center for Entrepreneurship, we have programs where if you are, looking to take part in a business plan competition to help you sit down and write your business plan down so you can take part in some of the activities you'll learn about today. We have a program for that. We have a competition that happens every semester, and it's about $25,000 that's made available. And the bigger part is you get a mentor that you work with, a SCORE mentor usually that you work with on a regular basis to write that business plan down, should you need it. If you've already, gone past that and now you're looking for growth, you've been in business for a couple of years, let's say 3 years, then you can qualify for our Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. We, this year, have 1,000 graduates, which these are graduates, the business owners that have gone through the program, which is completely free. It's a program where you are taught, modules, everything on marketing, finances to risk by business coaches that are, trained by Goldman Sachs office. They use curriculum that's known as some of the best curriculum out of Babson College, and that's provided to you for free to help you grow your business. And the data point is there. Those who complete the program still, they walk out, almost doubling their sales, and they learn how to, not just be in the business, but be on the business, right? To actually grow the business and not just be tied to your own limitations there. And then if you're looking for even further growth, then we have the MBDA office, the Minority Business Development Agency. And what the MBDA offers is every year they meet or beat $192 million of contracting for its clients. If you're an MBDA client, what does it mean to be a client? You gotta have some sort of revenue. I think they look for $1 million in revenue. And if you meet that threshold, then you can get access to some of the state and federal, contracts. And they facilitate the conversations with prime contractors, with you as a subcontractor, as one of their clients. And every year they do $192 million worth of contracting minimum. So it's one of the best centers in the country. I think they get to say they're platinum level, and that's under our office. So, whatever stage or whatever, ambitions you have, the key here is, we're a community college. We're available to you. Reach out to our offices and help me navigate this massive, giant that HCC is. But whatever your goals are, and we really are thankful to our partners at the Office of Business Opportunity, as well as our partners at SCORE, for making this content available in our backyard. Not having you drive. No offense. I actually drove from Midtown, and hence my being late.
Yeah.
If somebody, hit a truck or something on 610 and it caused the backup. But avoiding that and just bringing all this good education and content right here. So if this is a good venue for you and you want to do more, we're gonna have the next one here as well.
Yes.
Yeah, she's happy. Our job's done. So, well, thank you for your partnership and being out here and providing this service. So
Absolutely.
pass it back to you.
So, as I mentioned, yeah, minority business.
It's a minority business development agency. And I think they also call it a center. But if you search for the acronym MBDA.
A department with HCC.
Yes, it is a center that's funded by the federal government to be operated at HCC. There's a dedicated director, executive director, and they've got business advisors and a full staff. They operate out of 3100 Main downtown. But if you're interested, I'm happy to get you on a mailing list and having you attend Subs and Sandwiches. It's an event they do every month where they connect prime contractors with subcontractors, hence subs and sandwiches. Join us, please. Welcome.
I'm their current
Okay.
government advocate of the year.
What that means is that she's been recognized for promoting and connecting small businesses like yourself to the prime contractors. And this is a very important aspect of contracting. I know we're here for bookkeeping, which we'll get to in just a moment, but it's a very important part of contracting because a lot of people think, well, I'm going to go to the city of Houston, I'm going to get a contract. And you just started, this year. It's very rare that that's going to happen because there's so many elements that you need in order to be a prime contractor with a agency, not just the city of Houston, but any agency. So facilitating as well as promoting the opportunity for the relationship between a sub and a prime is very important. So that's something that you want to look out for. These are things that we're going to talk about throughout the year. My experience comes from managing contracts and grants for over 25 years for a major university. So, and I do that in my small business by connecting small businesses to government contracts, helping them to get certified, introducing them to being bidding on contracts, as well as managing those contracts. Yes, ma'am. Is that with Apex? So Apex is another community partner of ours, SCORE, as well as the community that facilitates federal contracts. They will talk to you and help you along with city and state and municipal contracts, but their prime objective is federal, which is important because federal contracts is top tier. And so I get a lot of clients that come in and say, I'm going to get a federal contract, and they just started 1 year ago. That's not going to happen. For two reasons. One, you don't want that type of smoke, okay? Because if you go after a federal contract, that means you're competing with multiple businesses all over the world, not just Houston, not just the United States. So you want to start small. You want to start at the municipal level. I suggest to my clients and mentees to start at the school district level, because it's easier to get in and you get to get your feet wet as far as, understanding the process of contracting. I heard a couple of people say that they already are vendors at ISPs, and that's a great way. They, like HCC, they have multiple opportunities for every type of business to be involved with them. And so once you get your feet wet with that, you can kind of work your way up. City of Houston is a major agency providing opportunities for contracting. Part of that is managing your books, bookkeeping, right? So I heard we have a couple of bookkeepers in the room along with myself, and it is a very, very tedious.
It's connected.
Okay, so we're live streaming this, just so you know, we're live streaming this for individuals that couldn't make it. One time we had an overflow, so we get that big. Okay, hopefully more of our sessions will be like that. But with that being said, as far as bookkeeping, it's another job for the business owner. And the reason why you would want to contract it out or hire an individual to do it for you. There's a lot of technical, if you don't have your books together, you cannot bid on a contract, flat out. It is required that you submit your income statement and balance sheet along with the bid proposal, okay? So with that being said, this starts all the way to the point of, do I have a business bank account? Okay, if you're still operating out of
Okay, and it is important that you make that distinction between the bank accounts, because if you're ever audited, okay, we're talking about contracts, but also on the end of that, you could be audited by the IRS and have a contract with by them. And if they see that you're funding, well, first of all, city contract, but the IRS is still, your income is coming out of income directly to your personal bank account, that gives them the opportunity to audit it personally as well. So you do want to separate those things. Starting with that, right? They don't want you to commingle funds. So we got the business bank account. The next stage is make sure that you have a tool that can track those transactions for you. Those of you who know, I'm the quick swing. I'm going to take it now. They call me that. No, I'm the quick swing over here in Houston. All right. So what that means is that so if you get a tool such as okay, you can manage those transactions more efficiently than just letting it come to the bank. It's great that it's going through your bank account, but at some point you need to designate what those transactions are for. Reason being is that when you submit your taxes, you have to indicate what the purchases and expenses that came from your bank. Now, you purchase meals, right? Okay, through your business. That is a 50% deduction. If you purchase meals while traveling, like I did yesterday, that is 100%. That is the reason why you need to designate what. So if you bought office, percentage it is, but that is different from its expenses or all these things need to be delineated within your business, and there's tools for you to help. Now, we do want to give you the opportunity to ask questions. That's what you want to indicate that for a mentor, first of all, at this moment, because I'm the subject matter expert, which means that you need to connect with a mentor first, okay? So within our organization. And if you have questions for me related to contract management, home health care, and startup, then they will connect me to you through that mentor, okay? Or one-on-one session. That just means that I don't continually, like, If I mentor you through SCORE, I cannot my business. So if you want to ask me questions specifically to my services as a business owner, reach out to my business first. And if it comes to the point where you would rather mentor, I can provide you with this. Not everybody's ready for minimum rate. Usually I don't say those things, but you do need to know that when you're looking for a book, me or someone else, you do need to know that there's levels, right? Levels to the contract management, all of it. So if you hire someone that is a bookkeeper, okay, that means that all they're doing is managing. They're doing administrative. If you hire an accountant, I can provide that administrative work for you, but then also provide you with financial reports and about the information that's. But then there's a third level. Yeah. CPA, interested in them, they can do everything I do as well as, but they're also giving you expert advice about tax. Any of my clients that hit the $100,000 mark, I advise them to onboard a CPA. Reason being is two reasons. One, have a separation of duties. Don't want one person doing everything. That's how funds get mismanaged. Fraud happens. Have two people looking at that fund. Doing that kind of work, you're not looking at it. You're just trusting that the money's in the bank, you're paying your employees, all that good stuff, right? So then you have a very important. If you get to that level, you're paying a lot of tax. So there's other mechanisms to help you pay less tax. So those are the three levels of bookkeeping accounting. Of course, with those levels, you're going to expect to pay a certain number. The bookkeepers, somewhere around 25. Accountants, 250 to 500. CPA, 500 to 1,500. So all depends on the level. So there's a lot of people that are not ready for this. They're starting out. Yeah, I remember when I first started, I'm not hiring a CPA. No way. Especially I know how to do, accounting. But now I'm at the level where I can't do it all. And I have to delegate to my book to do the work for that part of the work. I need clients. So if you're at that level where you just can't afford a bookkeeper just yet, through SCORE, I can advise you to resources within resource. Now let's get to Dr. Jackson in the city of Houston. When individuals are interested in vendors, just talking about vendors, this is like the bottom basic level. Tell them. Yeah. So with doing business with the city of Houston or really any government agency, the first step is going to be. You do not have one system where you can register. You're going to have to register. So for the city of Houston, you would go to the new website, which is houstoncs.gov/biz with WITH2HOU. HoustonTX.gov/biz with Q, and then you will register to be our website, HoustonTX.gov/biz with WITH2HOU. Now, so that is the minimum level. You have to become a vendor. You don't have to be certified in order to do business with the city of Houston, but you do need to be a vendor. The next step is certification, which is what we're all interested in, right? Because you can bid on a contract, as an individual or as a business without the certification, but the certification gives you that leg up, right? It's sort of an interview process. It makes sure that you have all your ducks in a row before they even consider you to bid on a contract, okay? So if you're bidding on a contract, that well, first let's go back to the certification. The certification has a checklist of requirements, and what does that include? So certification basically is used to, one, to help smaller businesses get on larger contracts, right? So for instance, most of your contracts that you're gonna see are going to be large, but the city does not advance if it's just large contracts, because smaller businesses, we have a backbone of senior contracts. So we have to make ways for smaller businesses to be able to grow past it. The smaller businesses, the ones that are. So what the certification does, it gives you that leverage to work on larger contracts to grow your business, where you are the prime. So that term prime means you are the primary contract, like you are the business that has the contract with the city. You are the business. Prime then would have to hire subs. That's where the certification. So if Data has a contract or is going for a contract with Houston, he says this is a $1 million contract, and that contract says 34% NWD people. That means Data has to sub out 34% of that contract to minority woman. So if she is a certified, and I'm speaking in the terms of City of Houston, if she is a City of Houston certified firm, then she can perform up to 60% of that 34%. She's still gonna have to subcontract out the rest of it to an index. And so you can't be certified by another agency. So if he picks me and I am not certified by the City of Houston, it is not getting. You had a question? I had a question. Yeah, that's the question she asked. So if she's certified the City of Houston as an MW, other 50% or the remaining percentage. So, yes, sir. So the minority certification would include that. That would be your definition. So you have separate certifications, right? You have minority. When we say MWT, that just means minority women, two types of certifications. And so each contract would have, maybe the minority might be 10%, the woman-owned might be 12%. Your contractor always going to tell you. Okay, so with that being said, that's the certification, right? It is a process, okay, and it can take 60 days, or excuse me, 6 months to process the certification. So it's very important that your processes and things that you have in line with your business are in line with the City of Houston. So what I suggest to my clients is find a contract that's available now or is in existence now. Someone else already has it, and use it as your guide to structure your business. Okay, so there are businesses, construction businesses, food service. Those contracts come out the plenty, right? You can see those almost every week, right? If not every week, but there are. Yeah. So construction, yeah. But for businesses such as myself, they come out far and in between. Okay. So 2 things you want to do is get a contract or look for a contract that's existent and use it as a guide. And then 2, start building the relationship with the contract manager so that you can, when a opportunity becomes available, that you will become aware of it sooner than later. Now, City of Houston is very good with sending out a announcement of all the bids that are available. And once a week, I get mine every Monday. You can set it up, you can put your email in and it'll come to you every Monday. But if you're, reading those infrequently, and this bid is due at the end of this month, you're behind the 8 ball already. So it's very important that you start thinking on those lines. The best thing about contract management is that if that is your goal, everything else within your business is going to fall in line. Everything else will work the way that it should. So it's a good way to use it as a goal. So that certification, now the bids have come out. You're certified. You're a minority-owned business, woman-owned business, small SDE, but that's through you do small. Okay. There are now veteran certifications through the Robbie, can you tell us more about the veteran certifications that are out now?
So not only.
So I guess use that word, yeah. The city of Houston doesn't have any set aside. We have goals, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, and the distinction between that is that they're like on the federal level, they have set aside money, which means they have a pot that only women can touch. Okay, whereas in the city, as well as some of the other agencies on the city level, like Metro, it's gold. Okay, so it's not money set aside for you, it's just a goal to make sure 34% is represented. Yes. One. 51%. So what she's speaking of is if you have a husband-wife team, and you are interested in starting the business, okay, and you say you're 50-50, that means that you can only get a minority certification, right? But if you're minority, yes. If you make it 51 for the wife and 49 for the husband, then it would be designated as a minority-owned, women-owned. Okay, so we got our certification. Now it's time for us to bid. This is where the bookkeeping becomes uber important, because this is where they ask for the income statements, balance sheets, bank information, all of that good stuff. These are things that, according to now, to get certified, you don't have to be in business for the city of Houston, you don't have a time limit necessarily of when you start the business. Okay, so you don't need to be in business for any amount of time to get certified, praise God. But to bid on a contract, sometimes the language in the future classes, we're going to pull up contracts and point out some information for you. But the language may stipulate that you must be in business for 3 years. So already, if you've only been in business for 2 years, you're limited. So this is why at this point, you have to get your books in order because they're looking at that information, you know, from past 3 years. I've onboarded clients that have been in business for 15 years, but they haven't filed taxes in the last 3 years. Scary, right? So that means all of those transactions, all of that information has to be organized so that they can at least bid on a contract, okay? And they have to pay their taxes because you cannot receive a contract without, with a delinquent tax note. Yes, ma'am. Yes. You can go back. This is where it's important for you to onboard someone to help you with it so that you can get those 3 years cleaned up. But it can be done.
And just keep in mind, when we're throwing out like 3 years of business, 34%, giving y'all,
Yes.
this is not designated, there's just some 3 years. Some contracts might have half, some might have 10, some might have 0.
Right.
We're just giving y'all, writing that down.
She said. And it's very important that you read the contract. So many people say, well, my buddy told me about the contract and I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, submit the documents, but you haven't read that 54-page document. Now, my undergrad is legal assistant, so I've read contracts. It's something that your eyes are burning and the this and the others and the, you know, that kind of thing. So you want to get with someone that's scored to help you understand the contract. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, if you don't read every single word that, you know, it's going to disqualify you or anything like that, but it's important that you understand what you're getting into. I've done podcasts with another client with agencies all over Texas, and they've told me 4 stories of where they've actually onboarded or given a contract to a small business. One of the examples that was given to me is that it was a catering of state goods to the federal prison system. Okay, and she was a small business just starting out. She was able to get certified. She was able to get the bid, but when it came to delivering the product, that was an element that she didn't consider. And of course, the agency is not, you know, looking to make sure that, you know, your policies and procedures are in order or any of that kind of thing. And she couldn't deliver, which means that she was upside down and she owed the contract. You don't want to put yourself in that position. So going back to bookkeeping is highly, this is the holy grail. This is the part that you're being in business that it puts a emphasis on what you do. I've reviewed contracts and grants, and, you know, especially for NIH, Johnson & Johnson, all that, and they're all flowery and beautiful. We're going to change the world, and blah, blah, blah. But once I look at that budget, and that budget is not in line, I don't care what you're offering. You're not getting the grant. It's not going to happen. It's not my one of the last jobs I had at the university. The grant could not leave the university without my approval. It was that kind of thing, which means that if the budget wasn't in line, we didn't want the university's name stamped on it. It's going to be the same thing with the agency. They're not going to stamp or approve or allow you to become a contractor if your books are not in line, because it's tied to their brand. Okay. Questions? More questions? Yes, sir. I did teach there too. It was the University of Cincinnati. I now teach at the University of Houston's Small Business Development. Yes. Yes, sir. Good question. Yes. So his question is that they're, you know, emerging into the market, right? They have a new product, a service that is not usually purchased from agencies. Ravi is, this guy, innovation tech guy, my guy, I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. But what happens is that this is where the relationship with the contract manager is important. Because if you can get on their radar, you can talk to them about the service product that you can have available. Now, I think yours has to do with healthcare, with diabetes. So you're gonna find a contract with the city, what could that say?
Could be part of the health department.
Okay.
Would like that,
Mhm.
but, might be more if you wanna look for.
And so that, in my opinion, would be the Texas Hub certification, because they deal with state organizations, like, hospitals. So, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, so with certification, you have a local government. So, state institutions. When you say state. So, being minority and women. See the contract with, but I want you to. Hub certified, those are the contracts with those goals.
There's, yes. Go ahead. There's not levels.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's,
So with certification, it looks at the industry. So you could graduate out of certification by your industry. So time and woman owned. I just thought about it. You know, we're not looking at you where you are.
now let me also further explain the tech area, especially as it relates to, reaching out in communities, resources. Within SCORE, we do have mentors that are in the tech area that can speak to you about patents and all of those levels. But Dr. Brownblatt has this experience. So is there something you can? Yes, yes. I told you he's excited. This is the guy. Yeah, cultivate that. Yeah. community engagements, with the city of Houston, they have the pre-bid meetings. That's a great opportunity to develop a relationship. Those of you who were at the volunteer engagement meeting on Tuesday, we got two people in here. You shook hands with a federal agency. That is hard to do. You were able to speak directly to the interim director of the SBA. So these events that we have that are free, right? And we provide food, lunch, delicious. Okay, you go and now you're getting food, but you're getting information. You're feeding your business, okay, and you're developing those relationships. But I say at every single meeting, this is not a sprint. This is a journey. But eventually, these big businesses like you hear about Yellowstone, and this is what they had to go through in order to get to that level. Andrew, you had a question? So with certification, and the question is are you been certified? And so with any certification, you have to get acronym. And we're not going to Google's your friend. Right. All your services will be identified by that name. When you get certified, if I had 2 next codes, that's what they're saying I produce or I sell. So if you grow your business and add another one, then you'll have to go back into the system of the organization that you're applied to. In addition to what, yes.
Would you entertain any one of them? Keep operating off of for the college, operating. Let's call it, but this is very busy, but still. Yeah. So again, as city building about operate. So this is the yes. Yes. More on the okay. Thank you. No problem. Yeah. Behind it, yeah. Bye. So, in addition to what Dr. Jackson said to Andrew's question, if your NICS codes change, that's one thing. If your business changed, like when I applied for my certifications, I was the sole proprietor. That's it. For yourself. And then in 2022, I became an LLC. That information causes you to have to do another, what was it that you call the expansion form. So anytime there's a major change within your business and you've already been certified, you need to do an expansion. Now my certifications ended October of this year, or 2023.
So I need to go ahead and just recertify at this point. Okay. Now, if your certifications are coming to an end, you do have an opportunity to renew them without going through the whole certification process. But if you let them expire like I did, you have to let it, you have to recertify all over.
And then let me just add this. Didn't somebody come in here and they said that they're overbuying? You did well. What's the name?
Right. Yeah.
Office, blah, blah, blah. That's how you start building relationships. But anytime you have an opportunity, when you have somebody in the room that could help you or that could give you more insight to where you're trying to go, don't be afraid to ask them.
So we got about 4 minutes left. Yes, ma'am. Well, yeah, I reached out. It was, yeah, that was it. That was it. We had that's not working. We had a relationship. The individual, and I won't say his name, but he's not a part of our organization anymore. But there was an individual within our chapter at Houston that you know, and I'm just being transparent. God gave me the idea, and because I'm very passionate about helping small businesses and contracts. There's $5 million in contracts, a lot available just in the city of Houston for the city vendors that are available that get untapped for minorities and women-owned business, and it's because you don't know. And it was important for me to make that information available to you, and this is the opportunity to do so. So then that individual said, you need to talk to Portia Jackson. I met her once or twice, you know, but then, you know, we had a conversation. She said, sure. I mean, literally every time I asked her, sure. And so then I'm still, you know, I got to tell y'all the if, ands, and buts, you know. And so then I talked to someone else, and her name's Lalitha Raman. She's the sweetest person, highly knowledgeable. If you've met her, I mean, just mind blowing. She's like, talk to Robbie. Robbie will get you some space, and that's how it all started. And that was 3 years ago. And praise God, we're here, and like I said, we're bigger than we've ever imagined. We're able to educate and bring y'all to the table so that you can ask the questions. Because if you go to the city of Houston has a monthly meeting on the first Tuesday of every month, or yeah, the certification. The pre-certification workshop. Okay. You can go to those meetings and you can ask questions, and they give you first and third Tuesday. And it's online. It's online too, but it is also in person. So you can go to those meetings, but then you get intimidated or you forget. So we provided this opportunity so that you can feel free to ask all the questions. That's all, Han? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Oh, so yeah, we need to sum up the bookkeeping. So with bookkeeping, do we have any other questions before we, close that out? Okay, no problem. Yes. Yes. Right. Mhm. Wealth in this room. The wealth in this room. We are the largest port in the United States, which means that anything that comes through the United States is more than likely to come to this port, which means that you have the most opportunity in order to grow your business very fast. compared to other states and organizations, okay? So the synergy in this room is necessary. So connect with the individuals that are resources. I saw a hand, yes. 3 years. You knew everything. Okay, yes, sir. Through the pre-bid meeting or calling them directly. Yes. And you may be intimidated by calling them directly or networking with them, but they need you as much as you need them. I always tell people, so if I'm trying to do business with Robbie, I'm gonna see what Robbie does, what contracts Robbie has had. I stick with what Robbie has, then I'm gonna find out what organizations Robbie is a part of. I'm gonna go to those events where I know Robbie is going to be there. I'm going to talk to Robbie. Yeah. Right? Be strategic. If I know, if I don't have a direct line to Robbie, if Jada is my way to Robbie, then I'm gonna go where Jada's at, so I can tell Jada I need you to. You really have to know your research, and I say this because a lot of times I see people, or they'll say, well, I've been calling up there and nobody's returning my phone calls. When people call you and you don't know the number, are you answering? You have to build those relationships. And one thing that I know that pretty much works 99.9% of the time is you can tell that person that you're trying to read something about them, then they're more apt to listen to you, remember you, and help you. But if you just come up, for instance, if somebody just comes up to me like they did yesterday at an event, and they wanted help with in connecting something with the business development program, and they came up to me not knowing what business development was, what are we talking about, right? When you come to me and you say, I need your help, just tell me how you want me to help you. Don't go all around the mulberry bush about something else, because time. Our time is your time, our time is very valuable. It's the most expensive commodity that we have. So being direct, having your elevator pitch ready, walking up to someone immediately, Dr. Jackson, I need help with growing my network in the city of Houston. Who can I contact? There was a man the other day, he came to the office. He was from New Orleans, and he called me on the phone and he said, I want to open, I want to come about it and business. And he started talking. Right. Come on down. He came down. He came on time, all while he was searching for parking, and he said, I don't know if you can help me, but these are the areas I need help. I said, I can't help you there, and what you're asking for, that's not us, but I know the person that can help, that can connect you with that person, that I'm connected with that person that same day. So anytime you're trying to meet somebody, build a relationship, do your research. Don't call them. They're not answering the phone. They don't know what a lot of people do that. And just like we do it, we get those different emails. We don't know who's a scam, who's a fraud. Right. But if you can find somebody to connect you with that, or say, you know what, I heard you speak about other. I want to talk to you about this, and I need you to help with this. People are going to help you. So, one, you've done your research, and I know if you don't, and I don't have to try to figure out your angle. I know exactly how I can. So we'll take one more hand. Right, yeah, that's happened to me, yeah.
I think what you make a great point. We need to add that as a question.
Actually, I think we can do it next session, which is March 7th, doing business, what to know, and these are just elements of being in business, so that we can have that discussion, especially because contract management. I mean, that right there, what you just said, there, as subs, which, unless, Yellowstone in here, we're all subs, okay?
Well, wait a minute, because I got on her for saying little. So there's some people who might be able to be prime.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely, but what I want to say,
There it goes.
is that we have to be aware of some of the things that go on. And if there are organizations that are onboarding subs by name only, that's a problem. That's against the rules of the city. So yeah, and we don't want to be victimized like that because it's not victimized, right? So these are things that we can bring to your attention next session, which is March 7th at the same time, 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. And these are the ones that we're having available. We are taking a break in June and July, as well as August. We'll be back in September. And over the 2 years, we've experienced that. This campus, this room. So Andrea, you had the last question. So her question was, is if, now we're talking about grants, not contracts, right? So you receive a grant. The difference between a grant and a contract, you're performing the service, right? Grant, you are performing a service, but it's not expected to get back. It's something that's granted to your organization, which means that it is different income. It's not, it shouldn't be on the top of your income statement as a income revenue. It should be at the bottom as other. Okay, other income. And so, and that's because you don't want to get taxed on that nonprofit grant, right? But the revenue at the top is what you get taxed on it. You put it as other revenue or other income, that doesn't. So with, that's one of the first things that we said, right? With contracts, so the goal is to get money, right? That's the goal. Honestly, contracts is your opportunity to grow your business through the, that's actually the, and so many times when you get a contract, there's certain stipulations that you have to abide by, like hiring a certain number of employees and you have to hire them. If that is the to have the income, money, in order to support their salaries, so you do that as a line of credit, a loan, something to that effect from a bank. Through SCORE, we have connections to Lift Fund through the SBA, through Chase, to help you to understand how to get that fund. So you will reach out to SCORE and we'll connect you to a mentor that can. All right.